Alright. Let's see. Things I forget to do every time. Boom, 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 boom. Chill. Save and much memes. Nice weather here today. Nice and sunny and clear. Oh, that's a little bit too much. Running so low to the ground now, it's actually difficult getting out of the sand. That's fun. Jesus Christ. Fuck yeah. They exist, but I don't acknowledge them. Corners are optional, man. Oof. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Rear is overheating. 100 Cs. Yes. not very easy to see. I think maybe we need to find a new home for you. Like here-ish maybe for now. Where do you fit? I think maybe you should like just sit here. Nah, there's fine. And we don't really need Acti. Nor do we need you. Or the track map. And this is slightly annoying in the sense that it thinks it's above things, which is it is not. This is fine. Okay, so tires all over the place, that's fine, I'm just warming up. Let's see. Missed it. In any case, our experimental strat map still a load of horseshit. Still too much turbs somewhere. I think this is where we can save. And also likely here. See if we can bring it into some sort of viable thing we can run in race. Strat 8 modes 5 max fuel. So it grips on the rear, so we need Still running out of juice. Nah, he's on vacation. I need to remap a bunch of buttons because Formula Alpha has so many buttons that need to pushing. I mean, you have the anti, you have the push. Yeah. You have the push to pass, you have the DRS, you have profile 1 and 2. There's just so many fucking buttons, man. I'm running out. So chimpanzee and Toto is suffering in silence. They seem to be important. Anti-stall is a bitch. Yeah, the rear just becomes unhappy at 100, man. 29 and 28. Oh. Yeah, having a clutch is important. Speaking of, I'm gonna fix mine now into a single. Yeah, I think you have to set up the clutch in CM. If you try to do it via extended controls, it doesn't recognize it for whichever reason. One moment, I'm just gonna change the mode of my clutch to old school double or split mode to... Ah, for fuck's sakes, I need to upgrade the firmware to do that. Okay, well, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, no, just holla if you need any assistance. It's not a big deal. So... we are close to equilibrium, but not close enough. So I guess we are confined to not having clutch out of here. No clutch, Jesus. No turbo. Turbo will be reserved for the areas that matter. And then perhaps reduce the distance at which oh yeah, no, I'm desperately trying to come to grips with this shit myself, so... I have barely started. Literally my third race in this thing was with you guys, and I had done very little preparation. And the 2 races prior were basically just like understand the basics of the car and then get in. Yeah, it's not easy. Which is why I kinda like this shit. It's like GT3s, it's just instinct at this point. You're just sat there, kinda, you're just a part of the machinery, while here you have to think and plan much more. I used to think the same. I thought I was too slow for it, but like in the brain. But it turns out it's just habit. I mean, I'm not quick in them yet, but I think I can be. At least competitive. Maybe not alien, but getting into fights and such. And sustaining them in some form of another in the grid. They are a hacking lot more fun than GTs, that's for sure. But they do require composure on a whole different level. Still gripping up a little bit on the rear, so give us all the offsets. Goddamn. Might be a little bit too low to the ground. At least to be doing those things. Well, look at that, we still have power. And we are 5 laps in. That is crazy. We are getting closer. It's incredible how well it looks with pure. The lighting is beautiful. Oh, hello, Simon. In the sun. What headset do you have? Jesus, that's late. And we're out of juice on lap 6. Still 29 front right. Oh dear. Oh, I can ride on the hamburger bun? Did not know. Yeah, no, I can shift the weight. I'm running completely flat now with zeroing. Trying to see if I can learn to control the car without any aero in order to maximize the speed without the aid of E-turbo and curse. The more downforce you put on these tires. Yes. The thing is, we tend to end up with C3s. Not C5s as I wrote in my report. C3s. As the hardest tire for whatever reason, and they just fucking die. If you apply a lot of aerodynamic downforce on them. it is less straining to slide a little than it is to squeeze grip out of them. And also you don't have to use the curves or the mjuk. Yeah, it's not built with these cars in mind. And I think rather than simulate things such as downforce causing grip in the original formulas that come with the game, considering how different those and the RSS formulas handle tires, I think that those cars just have increased grip levels and their own temperature table. But there's also a thing to be said about harder tires, which we tend to never get to use. So when we are stuck on C3s as the hardest option, then one must get creative. Been meaning to bring it up, but I forget. Also, it's a fun challenge, and it forces us to pit. Right now I would attribute my lack of grip to no. Well, you can see like the C3s, they last for 10 laps, so or more probably. It's like once they pass the yellow dot there, they just become squishy pieces of shit. But still, you lose less time by staying out on them compared to going in and pitting. If you're able to manage them. Which is mostly the thing that's causing me to overshoot corners and such at the moment. Like I'm not a good open wheeler, and I've never driven these cars on this track before until last night. Yeah, that's what I'm targeting, fuel-wise. Right now I have 50 liters on tank still, and tires that are about to become poopy. Pressures aren't too horrible. Rear left is a little bit overpressured, same with the front right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think 46 minutes is 35 laps, if I remember correctly. I can check after this. Well, hey, I'm still doing 8s, but still running out of juice a little bit sooner than I would like to. But that is good. It is less than before. And now they become squishy hellholes. nah. Full send all the time. Then dial back. No, not at all. That was bound to happen no matter what. I was trying to see how hard I could hit that corner with my now newly degraded grip level in the yellows. They are now squishy boys. Squishy sad tire boys. I'm 13 laps in on them. Yeah, they're still usable. They're difficult here. That's about it. You still wanna play in here, no problem. And then comes my late attack angle here, which seems to be failing, but that's much better. And then just lifting and getting in and getting back on. And late attack. Durs. Staying on throttle through, very spooky. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what happens when I shift the weight more towards the front again. Right now the bias is rearward, as I was struggling earlier on when I was coming to grips with the car and track. And I was curious to see whether the plank wear on the front would come down, but it doesn't. But still I have like, even though I'm running it with no aero and fully lowered to the ground, I have like 5,000 laps worth, so long I don't ride the curbs too much. I can still use brake bias in order to rotate the car, and there's so many options. I don't believe in aerodynamics. It is a myth, a evil propaganda thing from the CIA. Mechanical grip is the one true law, to which I will forever slave. Oh, that's early. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. Oh there, okay, it's starting. Oh, yep, it's in the red now. One tire in the red. But still happily in the 9s. I have no idea if that's good or bad, but it's something. Oh yeah, it's the front, right, left even. Yeah, you can still brute force it a lot. Not here though. Absolutely here. $36 liters left. And they still drive okay. So long I am careful on entry and don't push it too hard. Whoops. Hanging in there, kitten gif. Oh my god. Blinky, blinky. Oh, yep, there it goes. Boop. Sad rear left and front left. Very sad. That's okay. We still love them. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, I still have it open from earlier. Close all, yes, and then let's do some convenience things. Where the fuck is options? Options, tools, options. Analysis, browse. Red Bull ring. There, okay. Open. And then we do from last from yesterday and last from today. What the shit? Oh. It organizes it in the opposite order. That's fun. .84, there we go. Huh? What in the actual shit biscuits is this? Ah, yes, I did mark it X5. There we go. So this is 16, this is 17, yes. So our quickest, we are still bottoming out a bit, so the rear probably needs to come up or the weight needs to be transferred to the front. So I think we shall start. Or we could also raise to limit travel. Lower to permit more suspension travel, yes. And then... where is that thing? Okay, so first we need more to the front. We do 3 percentage points, so that will be about where they recommended. Weight balance offset. Let's try the opposite. All to the front. And then let's have a look at the blank wear. So that was 16 laps. Calculator, my friend. Come to Papa. So 7100,470 divided by 16. That is this. And then we multiply it by, say, worst case 50 laps. We are not even remotely close. So we can still do a lot of nasty stuff to the suspension to bring the car lower. But that is for later. Give me a new plank. And also let's see if we can make a bullshit meme strat that is sustainable. The issue is still excessive turbo consumption. And we need to extend this because it's the uphill that is the issue. The rest is not so much of an issue, but still. You know what, I think I'm just gonna... because this is a little bit of a hairy section. So why not just save us the pain? See if that is the thing that allows us to do turbo all the way in mode 5. And then we have many attack modes available to us. But the fronts are looking okay. The rears do be looking like they need a little bit more rebound. A little bit fast bump perhaps. Especially on the rear right, rear left even. But in the interest of symmetry, we do this. And we also chuck in another bump. Just for good measure. To see what the fuck happens. And then X6. And we go. Oh, I forgot to check fuel. Yeah, should get about 34 laps over 46 minutes. If it's a 50-minute race, then it would be 37. But it doesn't really matter, we'll just keep running the same amount of fuel so that our comparisons are valid. Look at that sun, man. No, I had not forgotten to do something today. There we go. Oh, I feel immersed. Oh shit. A little bit of healthy experimentation going on here. Will it drift? Oops. Formula drifts. It's a start. It is indeed a start. Let's see. Yeah. Still nothing life-threatening, even with it. The balance pointed towards front, and we have reached points where we are actually not running out of power, I think. Which is nice. Let's see. Is it here? Yes, it is. Curse charge 65, so we actually, after 12 laps, we are still just shy of running out. And I fuck up, and then that's okay. So we have about 20% to play with. But at the same time, we are on a downwards trend. But that means after 11 laps, with 17 to go percent, that is, this would be sustainable for see, calculator, 0.4 divided by 11, that is 7.5% loss per lap, which means at 17 laps no, so 17 divided by 17.4 divided by the result we just produced means we are at 2.3 more laps before we run flat. So we're still not in equilibrium territory. But we are close to having turbo. But also, yeah, my quickest so far ever has been, I believe, the 7 last lap, so we are a 10th off. But there's always the question, how quick would I be compared to just the stock setup now that I am intimate with this thing? That is, I guess, the next thing we should compare against, but a regression. But that is likely because we increased the ride height by means of allowing suspension to travel more. So now the bumps are doing a lot more of the work. So therefore we shall reduce the bumps. Shall reduce the bumps. Reduce the bumps on the rear with a significant amount. This was X6. Was it? I don't think it was. Yes, it was. No. Yeah, so this is like X6 with less. X6 with softest bump stops. And then whatever happens next is X7. And there seems to be a little bit too much fast bump action. And on the fronts we could use more rebound of the fast variety. One click less bump. And also there is a lot of toe we could change. $381, $79.80. Oh, sweet Jesus, don't tell me I was looking at the wrong thing. I was, but it's the same story. Very much the same story, but slightly worse in some aspects. But I think we will commit to the changes we made and then do another pass and see what happens. But I do believe also that the bumps on the front are doing way too much of the work. Oh, for fuck's sakes. And we seem to be riding the bumps on the front now that the weight has been shifted forwards. But that is okay. We will find our way back. I do believe we need more rebound. Like a lot more. Let's just try to max it out. Roughly. And then back to the tires. 103, 104, let's see. PSI wise, 29.2, 28, 29, 28. And if I were a betting man, the outer is not very aligned with the rest. Fuck is it? Nine 5-1 116. So that is 5 in a difference. Yes, sunset with the broken clouds. Very pretty. Hey, look at that. Okay. The fuck. Whoops. That was just careless throttle application. And the tire ballooning. Yeah, for sure, tire ballooning. Too low camber. Lost grip. Oh, sleepy. 8, 4, 8, 6, 7, 6, and the last lap. Go away. Eight, 5, 9, 8, 9. Started 3, 2, 2, 5, 9. The peak 511 for I think we can actually drop the camera a bit more on the front. Starting to look a little bit less shit. Fronts are decent, but the rear... I'm bottoming on the rear, so I'm thinking... Bit last bump, let last fast bump. And there's nothing more we can do here except to contribute with more fast rebound, and I suspect we need to increase the torsion bar a little bit. Does that affect ride height? Yes, it does. So then we get 2 wins in one. No, wait. That's not true. This is X7. And the tires. Do, 28, 27. We did increase the pressure on this one, and temps aren't an issue there. So we'll go the other way. And I think also we'll do the same for the rear right. And then one quick yeet, and then I think I need to go to the store. Okay, that's a little bit too much. I hear you. God damn it. Same mistake again. A little bit too eager on the throttle. A little bit, just a smidge. But that's okay, that is a me thing. Ah. Is this the same? Yep, still a hint of the balloons. Yeah. This is probably the point where I lose it. Oh. Yeah, the center just skyrockets. So we need more camber, man. We need more camber. Give us all the camber, see if that solves it. Ah, not brakes, suspensions, man. And also... yeah, it's too bumpy. Too many fast bumps, man. Fronts are starting to look solid. I would also not be surprised if this is bump stop related. It started happening or around about where I dropped this. But I am starting to get hungry. So I will save this and keep on working later. I must say, yes, this is X8. How about them tires though? $27, $28, $26, $27. So not horrible. I think we are at the point where literally 7. So cozy when it's getting dark. Ah, no, that was just me. That was just abuse of sausage. That's what that was. But I think I am at the end. I do need sustenance. And I shall leave it at that. It was a fun run. It was indeed a fun run. Progress, yay. dangerous indeed. Well, yeah. Short one, but still 2 hours. It is sufficient. I shall now go do the things.